Ancient Sumerian cuneiform tablets showed that they knew about our solar system a lot. They had knowledge of the shape of planets including Earth. In ancient Mesopotamia, all 5 planets visible to the naked eye were known and studied, along with the moon, the sun, the stars, and other celestial phenomena. It was Sumerians who invented the very first concepts of astrology, the 12 zodiac signs, in 1894 BC. In 2015, a historian decoded a mysterious trapezoid from ancient Babylonian astronomical tablets. After the analysis of the tablet, it was concluded that the Babylonian astronomers had calculated the movements of Jupiter using an ancient form of geometric calculus. It should be noted that this is approximately 1500 years before we thought this type of math was invented by the Europeans. The tablet was translated by astroarchaeologist Matthew Osendriver of Humboldt University in Berlin, after a colleague visiting from Vienna in Austria handed a stack of mid-20th century photographs. This means that the ancient Mesopotamian astronomers not only figured out how to predict Jupiter's path more than 1000 years before the first telescopes existed, but they were using mathematical techniques that would form the foundations of modern calculus as we now know it. Ancient Babylonian astronomers developed many important concepts that are still in use, including the division of the sky into 360 degrees. They could also predict the positions of the planets using arithmetic. Osendriver translated several Babylonian cuneiform tablets from 350 to 50 BCE and found out that they contain a sophisticated calculation of the position of Jupiter. The method relies on determining the area of trapezium under a graph. This technique was previously thought to have been invented at least 1400 years later in 14th century Oxford. This surprising discovery changes our ideas about how Babylonian astronomers worked and may have influenced Western science. This is a big discovery. The tablet is one out of hundreds that were excavated during the 19th century. Anthropologists and archaeologists have been working for more than 100 years trying to decode all of them. They are from around 100 or 200 BC. The tablet shows that ancient astronomers used the time to calculate the speed and distance of a celestial object. It turns out that the Babylonians were tracing the trajectory of Jupiter for a specific amount of time. They did this by measuring its speed every single day and by using a very advanced geometric shortcut that allowed them to measure the planet's speed on the 1st and 60th day of the measurements, which gave them the distance it traveled. By calculating the area inside the trapezoid, Babylonian astronomers could find out where the planet would be in the sky. Exploiting the same link between velocity and displacement taught in introductory calculus classes, this makes it the only non-geometrical method in Babylonian astronomy. It is also different from Greek astronomy, in which shapes were used to represent dimensions of real space and time, but nothing as conceptual as velocities. Scholars at Oxford's Merton College and in Paris during the 14th century are typically credited with the same insight about velocity and displacement. They even connected it to the trapezoid shape. These ideas were the antecedents of the calculus developed by the Newton and Leibniz, but the Babylonians had them far earlier. In 2020, Matthew Osendriver published another paper where he explained the moon and other planets in ancient Mesopotamia. He stated from ca. 3000 BCE onwards, Mesopotamians used a calendar with months and years, which indicates that the moon was studied at that early age. In cuneiform writing, the Sumerian and Akkadian names of the moon god, Nana, Sin, are attested since 2500 BCE. The most common Akkadian names of the 5 planets, Salbatanu, White Star, and Kayamanu, are attested first in 1800 and 1000 BCE. The moon, the sun, and the planets were viewed as gods or manifestations of gods. From 1800 BCE onward, the phenomena of the moon, the sun, and the planets that were produced by the gods to communicate with humankind. Between 600 BCE and 100 BCE, Babylonian scholars reported lunar and planetary phenomena in astronomical diaries and related texts. Their purpose was to enable predictions of the reported phenomena with period-based so-called goal year methods. After the end of the 5th century BCE, Babylonian astronomers introduced the zodiac and developed new methods for predicting lunar and planetary phenomena known as mathematical astronomy. At about the same time, they developed horoscopy and other forms of astrology that used the zodiac, the moon, the sun, and the planets to predict events on Earth. Another Sumerian astronomical treasure, a 100-year-old clay tablet discovered in the 19th century in the underground library of King Ashurbanipal in Nineveh, is another astronomical treasure. The ancient document excavated in present-day Iraq by Sir Henry Layard offers unprecedented insight into astronomical observations that took place more than 500 years ago in ancient Mesopotamia. It's amazing how little we actually know about the ancient civilizations that once roamed our planet. From what we know so far, they were extremely advanced, possibly even more advanced than the modern-day humans. What's even more interesting is that many of these ancient cultures speak of gods that came from the cosmos and shared this type of information. There is even evidence of highly sophisticated technology. In 2008, a scientific study revealed an astonishing fact about the Paleolithic humans. Several cave paintings, some of which were as old as 40,000 years, were products of complex astronomy that our primitive ancestors acquired in the distant past. According to what experts revealed in their fascinating discovery, the ancient paintings that were thought to be symbols of prehistoric animals are old star maps. Early cave art shows that people had advanced knowledge of the night sky in the last ice age. Intellectually, they were hardly different from us today, but these particular cave paintings revealed that humans had a sophisticated knowledge of stars and constellations more than 40,000 years ago. During the Paleolithic Age, or also called the Old Stone Age, a period in prehistory distinguished by the original development of the stone tools that covers almost 99% of the period of human technological prehistory. Ancient star maps. According to the breakthrough scientific study published by the University of Edinburgh, ancient humans controlled the passage of time by watching how stars change positions in the sky. As previously thought, the old works of art found in various places in Europe are not simply representations of wild animals. Instead, animal symbols represent constellations of stars in the night sky. They are used to describe dates, marking events like asteroid collision, eclipses, meteor showers, sunrise and sunset, solstices and equinoxes, lunar phases, etc. Scientists suggest that ancient peoples perfectly understood the effect caused by the gradual change in the Earth's axis of rotation. The discovery of this phenomenon, called the precession of the equinoxes, was previously credited to the ancient Greeks. One of the lead researchers, Dr. Martin Sweatman from the University of Edinburgh, explained, early cave art shows that people had advanced knowledge of the night sky in the last ice age. Intellectually, they were no different from us today. Those findings support a theory of multiple impacts of comets throughout human development and are likely to revolutionize the way prehistoric populations are viewed. Sophisticated knowledge of constellations. Experts from Edinburgh and Kent universities studied several renowned arts in ancient caves in Turkey, Spain, France, and Germany. In their in-depth study, they had achieved the era of those rock arts by chemically dating the paints used by ancient humans. Then, using computer software, the researchers predicted the position of the stars exactly when the paintings were made. This revealed that what may have appeared before as abstract representations of animals can be interpreted as constellations as they arose in the distant past. Scientists concluded that these incredible cave paintings are clear evidence that ancient humans practiced a sophisticated method of timing based on astronomical calculations. All of this although the cave paintings were separated in the time by tens of thousands of years. The oldest sculpture in the world, the Lion Man from the Hohenstein-Stadel cave from 38,000 BC, was also considered compatible with this ancient timing system, revealed expert in a statement from the University of Edinburgh. The mysterious figurine is believed to commemorate the catastrophic impact of an asteroid that occurred around 11,000 years ago, initiating the so-called Younger Dryas event, a period of sudden cooling of the climate worldwide. The date carved in the vulture stone of Göbekli Tepe is interpreted as being 10,950 BC. Within 250 years, explained the scientists in the study, this date is written using the precession of the equinoxes, with animal symbols representing stellar constellations corresponding to this year's 4 solstices and equinoxes. So, this great discovery reveals the truth that humans had a complex understanding of time and space thousands of years before the ancient Greeks, who are credited with the first studies of modern astronomy. Not only these, But there also are several other instances, such as the Sumerian planisphere, the Nebra sky disk, Babylonian clay tablet, etc., which imply more sophisticated knowledge of modern astronomy than our ancient ancestors once acquired.
With so many conspiracy theories out there, it's hard to keep track of them all. Welcome to What We Know, where we try to uncover the histories and mysteries of the world by presenting all different theories out there, and the only narrative we push is this. Here's what we know, make up your own mind.
If you enjoy this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing to us and hitting the like button. Feel free to write a comment below and suggest which theory you want to see next. If you'd like to further support this channel, please consider joining. Our membership link will be found in the description box below. We appreciate your support, and as always, thanks for watching.